have followed your career for a long time. We're big fans.
Thank you.
We have talked about, kind of paying attention to all things Disney, even when like maybe we have aged out a little bit, but we don't care because
we have Disney Channel taste.
That's
exactly.
Right. We just never age out. It's fantastic. We've talked about The Descendants, so many great things that you've done. What was it like kind of entering into the Disney family and kind of like getting your start with Disney?
Really fast. I guess I would say really fast. It was very like, I guess like how you would think, like being an outsider, probably how you would think it would be, at least before I was on the channel. It was kind of how I thought it would be. But at the same time, really not how you think. Like it's really not as much of a machine as people think. And it's really not as like of a controlled environment as much as people think. And I mean, I guess, I don't know. Like, I guess if I was maybe a bit more like, like I want to go do whatever, like
rebellious. Yeah.
Right. Maybe then I would feel more like controlled. But I've never been that type of person. So I don't know. It was always really chill. It was always really like, they kept me busy for sure. Like, I think I definitely worked a lot more hours than like my peers, because it is a lot of hard work to be on the Disney Channel. More so than you would ever think, because it just got so many like extremities. Do you know what I mean? Like there's the branch, and then you have all of the baby branches where like you're like, oh my God, these girls from Disney, they pop up in Japan, they pop up in France, they pop up in the UK, and like we really have to go, and like it takes time. Do you know what I mean? Like it's very time consuming to be on a platform that is so global. But it's definitely really good training. And they really prepare you to be like a hard worker for the rest of your career. And they test you a lot, like they stretch your abilities. And, obviously it's a kids network. So like, it's not stretching all of your abilities, but it is definitely like, hey, like this week you're doing this and you have to like adapt. And that was really good for me. I think it was almost sort of like an accelerated college degree in the industry.
And you played Liv and Maddie, you played both parts. So that alone is probably so much more work than your average person on Disney Channel, just because you are playing two roles at once. How was that? Even though, it's been some time since that show has ended, what would you say is the hardest part about playing two roles at once?
I would say a lot of it is practical. Like a lot of what people, because Disney Channel, so the way that they work is they have 5-day work weeks just for the series. So like on the weekend, you'll be doing like music, or you'll be doing traveling, or you'll do promotion or things like that, but you only shoot the series 5 days a week. So the model that they have is you get the script and you do your table read and your first rehearsal on Monday, and then you rehearse and have a run through on Tuesday, and then you have your final rehearsal and run through on Wednesday, and then you shoot Thursday, Friday. And that's fine. And it works for everybody, except when you're shooting double the amount. And so that was, I think, a bit of a learning curve. Was we got the same amount of time as every other show and the same amount of resources, when really we needed double. And that in and of itself is just hard. Like it's hard to be shooting at such a rapid pace. It's hard, the additional, like to shoot a scene and then you would have to go on a lock off, which like they lock the cameras. And because if you imagine, if you're laying over two videos, the cameras can't move, like in order to make the twin gag work.
Yeah.
And so it was a very different kind of set than the other sets. And then we come back and we shoot it all twice and we try to match it to our best ability. And it's a lot of like physical work. It's a lot of not crossing barriers and things like that. And then just keeping the twins' personalities straight. But if you get into like a rhythm with it, like it was, after a while, it was pretty much second nature.
It's honestly just really impressive. So props to you.
No, thanks.
Yes.
And so the last thing you did with Disney was Descendants 3, right?
Yeah.
And do you plan on doing more with them, or are you going to do other things? Because I saw that you announced a new film, Isaac, which looks totally different than anything else you've done. It's like eerie, but it's cool.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a hard question to ask. I mean, Descendants very much, I think, was meant to be a trilogy. I think that they really crammed everything into that last film in an effort to tie up all the loose ends for the fans and answer all the questions that they had. And you know, we kind of did it all. Like, I think that if there was to be anything, it would be fun to do like a sort of a follow up, maybe like a wedding special. Obviously, I mean, I feel like this isn't really a spoiler at this point, but like obviously like, they're gonna get married, and it's like the royal wedding and the whole thing. But I don't know. I really also feel like obviously like it would be really, really hard on the cast to do a film without Cameron. I think that's all something where like if there's a part of us that it would feel, I'm sure there's a part that would feel very healing and very much like we're coming home, because the series was so important to us at such a pivotal point in our lives personally, much less you know, publicly or career wise. It like, I think the films to all four of us and everybody else, mostly the four of us, because we were really the ones who like started youngest. To us, it's a very much like a personal kind of an experience, as funny as that probably sounds from the outside. And so I think it would be healing to come back to it, sort of like a homecoming, but also I think it would be really hard. And I don't know if we would be up for it. I don't know how that would feel, but also, you know, it's a big world. I hope that they continue it in some way, whether it's with us or not.
Yeah.
But yeah,